Hello, I'm DFW's own Danny Bayless, letting you know that you are about to hear a free podcast of The Dumb Zone. But if you'd like to subscribe at dumbzone.com, you will get 4 shows per week, plus the weekend wrap-up and any bonus epis like our Business Wednesday interviews. Oh, you'll also get our DZTV archives. Again, that's dumbzone.com to subscribe. Now, on to today's program.
The Dumb Zone.
You went into the medical tent at one point, came back out, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. What was the difference for you guys?
I just started praying. I was in pain, but I trust my teammates. We kept fighting. We never gave up. So all the glory belongs to God. He's the one that brought me through.
Where was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere.
All right. I never listen. I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the Dumb Zone.
Well, hello there. It's the Dumb Zone on a Monday. It's show 253. Can you guys see your monitors?
No.
Okay, just making sure. It wasn't just me. Rob, into action. Dan's still out, but he will join us for the back half of the show today. He is in Cleveland. He was there yesterday for a big day in Cleveland Browns history. Deshaun was booed coming out of the tunnel. Contrast that with the return of Nick Boner Chubb. And then Happy Baby tore his Achilles. Dan was there for all that.
It's funny, Dan seems to be more fascinated over football with a particular chain restaurant.
Yeah.
That's garnering most of his attention.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Dan.
No, who is this talking right now?
Everybody, give a warm
Everybody
welcome
knows
to today's
heavy metal.
special guest host, Danny Heavy
do it?
Metal Bayless.
Rob with the classic rock video edits. You get to zoom in and out real quick.
I think I went Surf's Up instead of Heavy Metal. I've been out of the game too long.
What's
Yeah,
up?
so Danny's here in for Dan. He'll be here tomorrow as well. Dan will join us for the back half of the show today to give us our Browns report.
What are you doing?
Transition. Yeah, it is funny. We talked about it the other day. That when he goes to Browns games, things happen.
Yeah. The last one was the Mason Rudolph game.
Yeah. Big things.
And the last game he was at, it was the only time the Cowboys were good this year.
That's also true. Now, he didn't step foot into the stadium, but boy,
Yeah,
I
he
was
did.
feeling...
He was in the Spanish
Oh,
radio
that's
booth.
right. He didn't sit with the common folk.
He never does.
That's right. I was feeling good that day, Blake, and it wasn't just because I was there with Heart Attack Man who supplies what you need to feel good.
Yeah.
It was we were flying high. Aubrey's kicking from 70. It's good times, and it's been pretty much downhill from there. But I will say yesterday was awesome. It's the best weekend of the season for me.
Cowboys bye?
Mm-hmm.
It's pressure free.
Or a Monday or Thursday works too. It's pressure free.
It's stress free.
Normally, what TV networks do is they put teams with games with good teams on television for the country to see, and the Cowboys is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I'm at home, I don't do Sunday Ticket. I have Red Zone, but I usually don't even fool with it too much because I'll go with God and the games that the suits selected for me. That's what I did yesterday.
Yeah. Lions-Vikings was cool.
It was awesome. So was the afternoon game.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice.
I've been calling that real football.
Yeah, it is real football.
There's Cowboys football, and then there's real football.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So yeah, that's what we have in the back half today. Is Dan will join us. We'll talk some Browns. We'll do some news. But before then, we're going to do some football. And before then, we're going to do a weekend check, which is brought to you by the fine folks at Frankel and Frankel. They are personal injury lawyers. Danny, who are they chosen by?
The people.
Who are they feared by?
The insurance companies.
I knew he knew it. Didn't even.
He's
prep
not even
for
reading the
that.
copy.
He didn't even prep it.
I can't
for that.
find it.
Now, are they based in Sao Paulo or Hong Kong?
Right
or
here in the Metroplex, Jake.
should I call them 2, maybe 3 days after I get in a wreck?
No, it's unless you're like really hurt and you need to call an ambulam.
Mm-hmm.
No, all you got to do is pick up your phone and you remember.
Well, hold on.
Whoa. No, you call them first.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because the case starts immediately.
But I bet if I wanted to do that,
Mm-hmm.
do I have to dial like a +1, like I'm a country code of some sort?
You don't need a country code. They're good from either major Metroplex area code, 214 over here on the east side, or for you West Coasters, 817. And then all you have to remember is the number 3.
That's right.
Just think Babe Ruth. They're like the Babe Ruth of lawyers.
Yeah,
What's up?
that's exactly what they say. When I call, will I talk to a janitor or some sort of low on the totem pole type?
No joke. Cold called the Frankels one time on the air to get some legal advice on something we were discussing.
Yeah.
Expecting fully to get a receptionist to answer, patch us through, called 214-333-3333, and Gene Burkett picked up the phone.
Yeah. He's a good man, that Gene Burkett. They'll take care of you. They know what the insurance company's trying to pull on you. You know what? I saw a video this weekend going around of like not fake, but hit and runs where people are trying to pull scams.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Somebody does that to you, you call the Frankels, scam is over.
Yeah.
That's the end of the scam. That's how they do it at the Frankels. Thank you to the Frankels, 214-817-333-3333. So for weekend check, anybody want to grab the ball? Blake? Danny?
Yeah, I'll go because I don't have much.
Well,
I think you guys kind of spent a portion of your weekend together.
we did.
We did.
As
You
usual.
can share stories.
I was going to begin with the Eagles
What happened?
remaining undefeated in district play.
Awesome.
It was-
Well, not overall, but yeah, district play.
So that was my Friday night in Mansfield. Did a little weekend wrap-up Saturday morning, and then, headed out to Arlington. And I think I told you this. When I heard what the party was and where the GPS was taking me, I couldn't quite compute it.
Yeah.
Because this is pasture with horses and all get up in Arlington, right off Randall Mill. So it was kind of strange to turn off 30 and, I don't know, go a mile north or so and then turn off into the country almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's what what they say about Arlington on all their brochures and stuff. It just says "Discover Arlington," because there's so much there that you might not know about.
Might be something to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, appreciated the party. That anything to get them away from a screen is cool, and I don't know, it just kind of feels good to, I don't know, go back to nature. I
be
guess
outside.
Yeah,
Perfect day.
SG way of saying that, but
So you discovered Arlington.
kind of.
Yeah, that's right.
The slogan worked.
That's right. And below it says more than the Judge Roy screen.
Yes,
There's some nature out there.
more than
for
the
sure.
Texas Giant.
Yeah.
I appreciated the start time of the party. I feel like you guys know it's got to be at least 2 o'clock or after for afternoon nap.
This is a controversial topic. So what I'm with you. I think that 3 o'clock is the second best start time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best start time is like 9 or 10.
100%.
10
Because-
a.m.?
Yeah. Izzy's daughter's birthday last year, it was either 9 or 9:30 or 10. And you're done by noon, so you can still probably hit the nap roughly on time, and you're done. You're done for the day. That's my favorite, but that wasn't really going to work because this place sounds super, super white, but I think they do horse riding lessons in the morning. And then after that, you can just go there, and the kids can do like a small trot with the pony. You can paint a horse, which seemed really beaten
Well,
for
paint
the
the pony.
horse. Paint a pony.
Alliteration.
They had like a white pony that is just chill, and kids like paint the pony.
Really?
They stick their hand in a
Yeah, and put
mound
your
of paint,
handprints
and then
on
you
it.
go and you can draw
Yeah.
or whatever.
And the horse is just cool with it?
Yeah, just
sits
chills.
there?
And then we saw the horse like 20 minutes later, and we're like, is that the same one? Like, they just pose it, and it's done.
Yeah.
But the girls loved it. The kids loved it.
Yeah, they gave it a bunch of hay, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Just sat there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And then played a little poker Saturday night.
Oh, wife gone? She always works weekends, right?
Yeah, she's gone. Got some babysitting after the party.
Nice.
And then just really sucked it up at softball Sunday morning, and then here we are.
Hangover?
No,
Slight? Okay.
no, I'm just old and
You're old. What did you mash better at, softball or poker?
I'm not a poker player. I don't have the patience for it. Like if 5th or 6th hand in, if you want to go all in, let's go all in.
That's something I'd like to be good at.
Poker?
Yeah. I know it takes time, though.
Yeah.
Time?
Yeah.
It's hard. Have you played much?
A little, but not enough to know really what to do.
20 years ago, I guess, when
Oh, you were in
it
that
was,
was the heyday.
Oh, my God. I never got into it like I wanted to just because I didn't have a bankroll.
Yeah.
But playing with guys that really knew what they were doing, it was always funny to see their reaction when they played with somebody that wasn't familiar with the game or maybe plays the way Blake does impatiently and will just go all in with nothing because he wants the game to move along. To watch them get so frustrated and yell at the people. You're not playing right. And it's some girl that just, never has really played before and wants to get in on a game and puts her money up and she looks at her 7-2 offsuit and says, I think I'm going to go all in. And she'll end up winning. Or river riders, people that will just keep betting, just waiting on that final card. And the problem is in time, if you play that way enough, you're obviously the odds are against you, but it can benefit you if you're playing for like 30 minutes or an hour, and you can kind of wipe people out just out of sheer luck. But it's really frustrating to play. I didn't really care that much because it was never like a massive amount of money that I was risking. But playing with guys that really know what they're doing, it's fascinating. And I learned a lot about it, but I just know myself, and gambling is not a road that I need to go down.
No, I loved playing. Like I like playing cards. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of hate that that's gone away. People don't sit around and just play cards anymore. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Who put this together? This poker game?
Monty?
Oh. Did you do it like out somewhere?
No, at his house.
Okay.
Watch some Texas, Georgia.
That sounds fun.
Had
Yeah,
some
I mean,
beers.
it's crazy. I would have thought it could be a part of it. Hypothetically, it sounds like all like people that I'm friends with.
Right.
Would you have attended if you were invited?
Of course not.
No, so
That's not that you don't know that. I'm not Dan.
yeah, but you're Jake, who has a million things to do. And going to play poker,
That's probably not a good environment for you to be
your
in
one-legged friend is probably not high atop your list.
after your previous month.
Yeah,
Being
I mean,
at
you
a
gotta
poker game with Monty.
you gotta get through it somehow or at some point.
I mean, his kitchen table probably looks like was on Frank Sinatra's rider.
Yeah, I mean, he does like live at a pool hall.
True.
So it's probably not a whole lot of
Well, I hate that
sober folk in there.
I hate that I missed the party. As I texted you Saturday morning, my son, who was with me on Friday night, he decided to wake up at 4 a.m. Actually, no, he was with his mom Friday night, but she told me he woke up at 4 a.m. and he's been up since.
It's always a fun.
And he won't nap. He's done, and that's out of the equation. Naps are over. So it's basically a wild ride of a bipolar baby where the highs are really euphoric and the lows are extremely low. And not only did I not want that for myself or for him, I definitely didn't want to project all that onto a birthday party that wasn't his. But I agree with you on the start times. 9 o'clock is perfect.
Yep.
It's absolutely perfect. And if you can do it on a Sunday,
Whew, you're gonna get a cheaper rate too.
it's cheaper rate. It doesn't screw up all of your friends' Saturday that they've been waiting all week for. And you do it at 9 in the morning on a Sunday. You just do donuts and coffee. The kids love donuts. The parents love coffee and donuts. You're out of there by 11 o'clock so dads can get home and watch football. And it's an excuse to skip church if you're still into that fallacy.
Yeah, no, that's a solid play. That's a solid play. Three wasn't horrible. And it also helped that it was a really awesome day. Like we got very, very lucky
Yeah, you
on
did.
the weather. Yeah, so we did that. That was the other thing was they put all the kids on all of us on a flatbed trailer and sort of just pulled it around the property, which included stopping at the stables and feeding horses apples and carrots. Kids love that.
That's so cool.
Shit. Yeah,
I like it too.
it is. You know, I felt like I bonded with one of them. I'm creeped out by horse people, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Like
gorgeous, majestic animals.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but
and
people
to
who
behold them in person is something. It's something to experience if you've never really done it before.
People who get really into horses, though, there's something suspect there. I don't like it.
It's just, dude, it's no different than people that love their dogs on a level beyond what I think any of us.
I'll just say it. It feels like some people are attracted to horses.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm saying. You know?
They're hung, I guess.
It was funny whenever they were getting ready to put there were 4 of them in like this main riding area, and the kids could go out and they had a helper put them on. Brooks did it, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of trot around, and right when we walked up, I can't remember which one of our friends it was, but somebody was like, that horse is excited. Just a massive throbbing horse boner.
Oh no.
Massive.
Yeah.
Were the kids affected by this as far as
I don't
what's
think they,
that?
I don't know
notice
that
it?
anyone noticed. No. But I mean he was rocked up for the birthday party.
It's so smart for kids' birthday party. We all 3 have boys that are within about a year of one another or so. Toddler age boys. And there's doing the party at home, which we did for his first. Never again.
Yeah, it's tough.
Never again. I'm glad to pay the $150 to rent out Place Street Museum for 90 minutes because basically, here's $150. You clean this shit up. We're leaving.
Yeah.
Rather than having people in your house using your toilet, you got to deflate the bounce house and wait on that ex-carny to come pick that up and load it onto his flatbed, never at the right time that he says he's going to be there. Can I just leave it there overnight? And I'll get it. I'll send Otis to go get it in the morning. Yeah, fine, dude.
Otis ain't waking up.
No, Otis ain't getting up, especially on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing the party at home, it's off the list.
Super
it's
stressful.
Not an option anymore.
We did the party at the house last weekend.
Yeah.
And it's not that the party sucks or cleanup is that bad. It's just the stress of the week of getting everything clean, getting everything tidy.
There's that.
People are going to stay the night and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
All we had to do was get the pies, the pizza pies delivered. Shout out to Mama's.
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
been a minute since I've eaten
Yeah.
at Mama's. That was a staple of my youth.
Oh, Mama's?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Yeah, the last 2 Malcolm parties, well, until his third, which we decided to do at a remote location. The first 2 were at the house.
Why did you just make it sound like the party was at Area 51? We were at a remote, undisclosed location.
Yeah, at Place Street
You
Museum.
Langley?
But the ones we did at the house, it was for first and second birthday parties, it was Pizza Inn.
Oh.
So I went back to my old roots.
There you go.
And the one on Live Oak, dude, it holds up.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
exactly the same as it was in the 80s.
Hey, the one over in North Richland Hills, it's probably technically Richland Hills, is kicking hard. Managed by our good friend,
Your buddy, right?
Our good friend DB, Danny Binion.
Have you ever done the pizza order for a party and you really overshot your estimate?
Yeah.
And you end up giving like a full extra large to everybody that attended to take home with them because you just ordered too damn much?
It's just tough, especially with kids. So I did the math, and what I ended up with was I gave Blake about half a pizza, and then there was about another half to 3/4 left. And another family member with kids took part of that. We left with like 4 slices of cheese. So not too bad.
That's not bad.
Not too bad at all. I know my pizza math. I'm really good at it. It's a skill of mine.
He understands radius and circumference.
That's right.
And area.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told these guys this before, but I was the pizza orderer for my family from a very early age. And I learned all the tricks, folks. Because I would call, and my mom would give me the order, and I would tell my mom the total, and she's like, no. And she would call back, and I watched how she worked, and she would always get it $6 or $7 cheaper. The first thing you ask is, do you have any specials?
Yeah.
And if you know roughly how many pizzas you want, let's say 2, get specific. What are your 2 pizza specials right now? Not, do you have any 2 pizza specials?
Right.
You go in with an intent. And if they don't have something, they'll come up with something.
Yeah. It's all.
Let me see here.
It's a matter of it all depends on how you phrase the question. It's not, do you?
Right.
Because the answer can simply be, we
Not
don't.
at this time.
You assume that they do, and then
Yeah.
you ask them what they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just play them up. You might get something free, something cool you didn't even know about. What else did we have going on? Father-in-law was in town, Louisiana father-in-law. Dude, he brought me some boudin with shrimp in it.
Oh,
Shrimp boudin. It was already cooked. All we had to do was throw a few links in the oven, and I'm like, God made this. I love boudin, but it was real shrimp chunks in the boudin.
you leave it to the Louisianans to come up with the wild-ass idea to put rice in sausage.
Yeah,
and I'll be damned if it's not one of the best things you can ever eat.
Oh, it was so good. So he was there. Sister-in-law, I guess is what she is technically, was there. Kristen's half-sister. And that was cool because the boy's big enough now to where, he's like, he goes crazy on a bike and a scooter and all that stuff. Father-in-law's like, all right, now I got the one I wanted, the boy.
Finally.
Yeah. So he's really into it. What else did we have? Oh, a lot of football, obviously. I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell you guys, but now I don't recall it. Watched a lot of sports. Hell of a lot of sports. College football Saturday.
Yeah.
That was nice. How bad were you at softball? That's kind of been bugging me since you said it.
I just hit singles. Couldn't elevate, which means I couldn't celebrate.
So launch angle was just
Horrible.
garbage.
Just absolutely atrocious.
Too tired? Just
No, I
mentally
just
lack
didn't have it.
mental focus?
Just didn't have it today, Danny.
Consistency is what makes separates the
grow fonder?
professionals from the weekend warriors. You got to be able to go out there every time and
know.
deliver, and you didn't.
I know. I used to be able to.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I might hang it up.
That's sad. One other thing I did do this weekend in my quest for full transparency. So on Friday when we got done with work, it was the first time I was ever like, damn, I want a beer.
Oh, really?
First time since I left. And it was like Friday afternoon. The weather was perfect. I'd had a hellacious work week trying to get a bunch of stuff done. And I was like, damn, I don't want to get drunk. I want a beer right now. And I called my wife and I was like, yo, hey, I told you I'd tell you when this happened. I want a beer right now. And what I'm going to do is I went to Tom Thumb and I bought my first 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer.
No.
One Blue Moon did the trick.
Yeah, one fake blue moon.
Yeah. They have 1 million of them now.
Yeah,
When I was a kid, it was just O'Doul's.
or Coors
Right.
Cutter.
I didn't even know that exists. I've never heard
that
of that
one, Rob?
before.
Yeah,
And it just seemed like, that's probably tastes like piss.
man, they've made
But they have
the European game.
Yeah.
is strong.
Tom
in the
Holland,
NA.
Spider-Man just
Yeah.
came out with one. Dak Shepard has one.
Yep, they're
And
real skunky and
they make it
real fresh.
IPAs and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
totally.
Honestly, I had one of those on Friday afternoon, sitting out front with the kids on their scooters and bikes. I was like, that's exactly what I was looking for. A fruity, crisp, refreshing drink.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Did you miss the?
No.
But was there any kind of placebo effect? When you drank it,
Kinda.
You kind of felt like
I felt-
maybe I'm a little.
I felt
buzzy.
relaxed.
Okay.
There's a 0.5% alcohol in each one. So
Yep.
basically, you'd probably need about 9 or 10 in 30 minutes to feel like you drank one beer.
Right.
So it's not, there's no effect to it, but you do feel just I felt relaxed. All right, cool. We're chilling out. And again, AA is super against this idea. Some people will tell you
I was one. That
this
was
is
my
a
next
horrible,
question.
horrible
Yeah.
idea. But I don't know. It's case by case, whatever works for you, each person. But I went to the store and looked at it, and they had probably 10 different kinds, and you could order online.
It sounds like you wanted the.
I didn't want.
You
I
wanted the flavor and the taste of the beer, not the experience of what it does to you.
Yeah, I was not thinking about that at all. What I
Yeah.
was thinking was, I don't want another LaCroix.
Right.
Fine product,
You've been
but
hammering those.
well, yeah. I mean, you got I was already on that, but yeah, we'd mix it up with all the various versions. Obviously, Topo's the king,
Topo's the king. Glass bottle only.
of course. Yeah, of course. But at some point, you're like, all right, I've had enough lime and grapefruit water.
Right.
Is there? Because I don't drink soda at all.
Same. I haven't had a Coke in probably a decade.
Yeah, because I thought when I went to treatment, that is a big thing. Because first of all, if you've been drinking a lot, your body's gonna crave sugar. Like, because, people, and that's why people were so pissed that there was no candy there.
Oh, wow.
Because they were like, I have to have more sugar in my body right now. And so anybody that I know that's been to treatment, they got really into soda. And there was one dude there, he was probably 45, 46. Actually, this is the dude that cut my hair for four packs of wintergreen long cut. I never saw the dude without 2 Pepsis in his hand. Because they had a fountain. And you could just go fill it up as much as you wanted.
Really?
Yeah.
You like that?
It's a dream.
No Coke or Dr. Pepper.
I'm a huge soda guy.
Do you want a soda
Unlimited
fountain
Pepsis.
in your house?
Oh, yeah.
Unlimited
Also-
Pepsis
that's
and
the
like
next
7
step.
or 8 other.
And then move up to the Taco Bell?
They also had Gatorade fountain, orange fountain Gatorade, which I'm a big fan of. Throw that in like half water. But yeah, he was just like, I would literally never not have a beer in my hand. He worked on a painting crew, and he was like, we just drank all the time.
It's that old school way of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever told you, I was probably in college and had come back home to visit. And you know what happens in college. You kind of discover weed and drinking and drinking more than just finding a way to acquire the beverage and then sneaking away and maybe having a couple or 3 or whatever. But when you're in college, you're on your own. Kind of do whatever you want, so you kind of understand what your limitations are, how much it takes to get to feel like the way you want to feel. You know what it takes to get you to be sick, and you kind of gauge your, what
I never thought about that, but yes, that
that's
is
kind of when you discover that, because you don't have any real accountability or have to sneak in late at night and pretend you're not drunk because your mom's going to see you. I remember coming home from school, and my uncle, my mom's brother, lived on the same block as us. He owned an auto parts store on the same block, and his wife ran the city cleaners, which was on the same block. And my uncle is like this old school, skinny, tan dude, sinewy, not an ounce of body fat on him, chain smoked Winston cigarettes, owned an auto parts store. And that was the place for like old crusty dudes to hang out. Like you'd walk in there and there would just be guys just sitting around, just chewing the fat, just chopping it up with my uncle. And he invited me when I came in. He was, you want to go fishing with me and your cousin in the morning? I was like, yeah, that sounds great. All right, meet us over here at I would probably get started around 5:30. You got to get out there early when they're biting, right?
Sure.
So I got there, I walked over across the alley, got there at 6 o'clock, and I walk in, and it's him and his son, my cousin, who's older than me, quite a bit. He goes, you want a beer? I'm like, not really, but when in Rome, so he goes, yeah, there's go back to the fridge.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Yellow Belly?
Schlitz.
Okay.
There was Schlitz in Old Milwaukee.
If you give me 2 more guesses, I probably
You would have gotten there. Yeah, it's a very, very short path. And he goes, we got a case of beer this morning, and I went back there to get a beer. Mind you, it is 6 in the effing morning, and that case of beer is now a 12-pack. Those some bitches had already run through a 6-pack each by the time I got there.
I bet they cleaned up out on the water that day too.
It was amazing. They took that 12-pack, and I think they had more. We went fishing at this tank. I'll try to make this brief. My uncle's idea of fishing is to get 3 rod and reels, cast them all out on the tank,
Of course.
leave them on the bed, get back in his big-ass F-150, start it up, and chain smoke and drink while he's watching the bobbers. And if one moves,
Head on down. Yeah.
that son of a bitch caught probably 15 fish, and I had like 1. And they drank beer all day until about noon. We go home, they eat lunch, and then they open the
bottle.
brown drink.
Yeah, of course.
And that goes on until they pass out at 8:30 at night.
That sounds like a hell of a day to me.
So, yeah, when you talk about rehab,
Yeah.
those guys,
Yeah. There's people. But again, this guy worked on a painting crew, but he made good money, and he cut hair on the weekends at like he's not at like, Gennaro cuts.
It's amazing.
And he gave me the best haircut I've ever had.
It looked great when you got out.
Yeah, and he's like, I just had a beer in my hand or 2 from the time I woke up until the time I went to sleep. So he always had 2 plastic cups of Pepsi at all times, and he was fit.
Yep.
He worked in manual labor, so
crazy. Just the understanding your tolerance and realizing that is a real thing. I mean, those guys drank a case of beer each and then hit brown drink in the evening. And, me now, I think the last drink I had was probably a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. And it was 1 or 2. And I felt I'm done. I don't need to feel any more drunk than I already did after 2 drinks. But then there's times where, I could drink like 9 or 10 drinks in a 5-hour period and feel about the same. Yeah.
So shout out to the non-alcoholic beer if that's what you're into.
And the functioning alcoholic, the highly functioning alcoholic.
That's very, very true. All right, Blake, let's get into some sports.
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
I feel like Blake played that sounder for a second.
Trying to like rush me
kind
along.
of like the Oscars when your speech goes too long.
Let's get this
Sorry.
Come on.
Jeez. This Sports for the Day is brought to you by Early Bird CBD and their gummies. Speaking of enjoying yourself and not feeling like garbage in the morning, that is what the Early Bird CBD gummies can do for you. And you might be thinking like, I've heard of CBD gummies, but all the same, blah, 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 same thing. Oh, yeah? Well, these are different. Here's how you can know that we're serious about this. Do not take them if you have a drug test you're worried about. Why? Because they have actual THC in them, a microdose. I almost said mild and went with microdose, 2.5 natural THC. They're not necessarily sleep gummies, but they are nice for a nice relaxation. You're heading out with some friends. Maybe you're going to a concert. I might go see Mark Rubier this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The Luke
nice.
Daddy. I will be enjoying my Early Bird CBD.
It's a good idea.
Before checking that out.
I need to get a hold of these. I have not tried them yet, and I'm keep waiting for one of you guys to open up your backpack and hand me a couple because I think that would be awesome. Because like I just said, if you're not drinking really or at all in your case, and you still want to kind of chill out at night and maybe kind of feel something that's different than your day. And I've tried CBD and I've never had really good luck with it, but this sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
Kid put down gets a lot easier.
Yeah, I think he's talking about him, by the way, Blake putting his child down by him, Blake taking the CBD gummy. I want to be very, very clear about
They're vitamins, son.
When he's going nuts,
Okay.
I'm a little
edgy.
Less,
Okay.
an edge. It's great.
God, I think we
I'm
cleaned
not
that up
It takes
properly.
the edge
giving
off
my
of you.
child THC.
Right.
Yep, I think we cleaned that up properly. So, yeah, I could give you some, Danny.
Please.
And I will. But also, other option, earlybirdcbd.com, where you can use promo code DUMBZONE. That's good for 20% off as long as they're a client. So go to earlybirdcbd.com and enter promo code DUMBZONE, 20% off. Get you some Early Bird. It's nice little evening, take the edge off. Hey, take some and go for a walk on a Saturday.
I'm all about it.
Highly recommend.
I'm going to use this coupon code and get 20% off at their website rather than relying on you boneheads to share your stash with me.
Hey,
I'm not sharing.
respect. All right. Thank you to Early Bird CBD. So sports today, we did have, I guess we'll talk a little Texas and college football tomorrow, but it was just a great weekend of watching ball. Just a great weekend of watching ball. NFL yesterday, we had a couple of big-time matchups. Didn't see this coming, but right now, pending the Vikings quarterback situation going forward, but it feels like Vikings-Lions is going to be a 4 or 5 year rivalry that we get to watch twice a year. It's very exciting. I like both their coaches. I like Jared Goff. I tolerate Sam Darnold. Both of them have a bunch of super fun players on both sides of the ball. Sucks Hutch is out, but didn't seem to be a problem for him on Sunday. They were still all over Darnold. That was a fun game. Back and forth and back and forth. And, of course, the Lions come out on top. Dan Campbell. And they just have so many guys I love. We talked about this last week, but Jahmyr Gibbs with a nice 45-yarder. I love watching most teams second and sometimes even third backs and being like, that would be the best running back Dallas has.
Well, yeah, he was a first-round pick.
Sure, but, even Aaron Jones is old.
Yeah.
And, they were able to pick him up. I don't know what his deal is. It's probably not more than a couple years. But he's 29, and he's still giving them plenty.
Yeah, my main takeaway from that game was look how fun these teams are.
Yeah, dude's doing crazy stuff.
And not like off the wall. I mean, just different formations, motion, just unpredictable on offense. And I left that game thinking Cowboys are not in these guys' league at all.
No. Amon-Ra is such a beast. Right now, it feels as if he's edged in front of CD.
Really?
Right now. Better scheme, better quarterback, better offensive line. Not better quarterback necessarily, but playing better right now. But better offensive line, better scheme. He doesn't have to do it all himself. I mean,
does he have anybody else in his core that garners attention?
Yeah, that's
unlike CD.
Right.
Yeah.
Both running backs can catch. Sam Laporta will pop up every now and then.
Laporta is a 2. Jamison Williams is a 2, I think.
Yeah. No, they definitely stacked up picks. But then, on the other side, I mean, the fact that Jordan Addison could be considered a third wide receiver. And I know his numbers haven't been great, but he had a 51-yarder in this game. That was a fun game. NFC North.
Dude.
Might not be that bad. Plays a fun brand of football,
Just
too.
a historically garbage division, too. I mean, that from top to bottom, out of those 4 teams, what was this, week 7? Week 7. They have 6 losses between the 4 teams. 2 5-1s and 2 5-2.
Yeah, the Bears were on the bye, but
that's right.
Even the Packers yesterday, the Texans didn't play great, but the Packers, they eked out another win.
Yeah.
I mean, there were good games yesterday that were like, these are what real teams look like. Texans, Packers, that was a fun one. Lions, Vikings. Let's see, we had the Joe Shane game.
Yeah, that played out exactly how you thought it would.
Where Saquon goes back to New York. Of course, the famous scene from their Hard Knocks offseason where the GM of the Giants is deciding that they're not going to go up to a certain number for Saquon. And maybe in the long run it'll end up being the right decision. Who knows? But their owner, the rich crypt keeper, walks in there and he's like, I sure would hate to see Saquon. I don't know why I just turned into Bill Clinton.
Keep going.
In an Eagles uniform. And they're like, he's not going to Philly. Well, he did. And then in his first game back, he went 17 for 176. God. Couple catches as well. Like, Jalen Hurts still looked like ass.
Yeah, he has. But, I mean, even if the Giants keep Saquon at that number, I don't know, what would he have? 15 for 40? That's not a good offense. He was not going to make or break that offense. I feel like that's the right move to let him walk.
It might be.
And it's just
but
unfortunate.
it won't be this year.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure a big-time drop-off is coming for Saquon at some point.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year deal. They benched Danny Dimes.
Wow.
Sort of. I mean, they were getting their ass kicked, but they got Drew Lock.
Put on. I did see where the Eagles sacked him 8 times.
Yes.
So maybe it's a little bit of protection for him.
They're so screwed. I love it. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I needed them to stay bad, and it helps that Philly is struggling too. Like, I think yesterday or the last 2 weeks, Philly barely beating the Browns, and then watching Jalen Hurts yesterday, even in a win. I think I've changed my mind from Philly's just kind of asleep and they'll wake up and they're still a real problem in the division to that team's just not very good. And I need 2 of these teams to suck so that in week 16 I can convince myself the Cowboys still have a shot at the playoffs with 2 games left. Because the Commanders are now, unfortunately, actually good.
Yeah. Need to hear about what Daniels is going through.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I want to ride Mariota if I'm a fan of the Commanders, but Cliff might be that good when he's just an offensive play caller. Mariota was awesome yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like he did when he was good for, like...
At Oregon.
Yeah, a couple of, like, decent stretches in his career, but the way they were using him, the weapons they have, like, he's throwing touchdowns to Zach Ertz, who somehow is still...
He knows that system. It's amazing how they've gotten to be a cool and fun team in just 1 year. With DQ, Cliff, and Jaden Daniels. It's amazing.
Yeah, that says a lot about the perception of your ownership, because you never really want to have a situation where you get fired or leave a company, and within like 3 months, everyone's really just like, this is totally different. Like, that means you're a cancer. They get a new owner, they get a new quarterback, they get a new coach, they get a hot-ass OC. Their running back got shot and came out to 50 cents mini-min.
Got Scary Terry.
Scary Terry's over there. They got Eckler for whatever that's worth.
Question about Cliff. So, what are they, 5-1?
5-2.
5-2?
Yeah.
If they run through the NFC East, make the playoffs, make, somewhat of a dent, look good in the playoffs, will somebody be seduced again? Maybe not this year, but next year, if that trend continues, will somebody be seduced by Kingsbury enough to offer him another head coaching job? Or do you think that he's...
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sign me up.
Even though that now you kind of see what his deal is, that he's a really good OC, but as a head coach, maybe not so much.
I don't know if I would be super on board. I'd be on board.
Because there's other I feel like there's would Mike Zimmer be an example of that, where he had head jobs before, I know, and now it's just kind of like you are what you are, and you kind of stay in that on
but
that rung.
He's old. Like, he's 68. So at that point, you're like, I'm not starting again with Mike Zimmer. Whereas with Cliff, he's still young enough to where, and he's an offensive coordinator, which, whether this is wise or not, makes owners hard. And it makes GMs very, very fired up about it. So I don't know. I would say I don't know if it's the right move, but he'll get another head coach.
He'll get another opportunity.
And the team or the organization will tell themselves, he probably learned a lot his first time around.
Yeah.
And you can't really argue with the results of what he gets from quarterbacks. Kyler was hurt a lot. Their team was just in shambles. But from freaking Manziel to Baker to Caleb, there's to obviously Patrick Mahomes, and now Jaden is like, it's year one, and they're already talking about the guy being in the MVP race. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I'm pretty sure, given what Jaden Daniels has turned in, Cliff is going to get offered another job.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, they had a couple years under Cliff where they were decent. Now they fell off, but I remember them beating the Cowboys pretty bad here. And the best Kyler has looked has been under Cliff.
Didn't we have like an RG3 Romo moment with Kyler Murray and Dak where he kind of gave him a
Did we?
Keep your head up type thing?
You'll get there.
That was a low point in Cowboy history when RG3 torched him in a win and get in game, and he just kind of like patted Romo on his head. He's a rookie.
Messed up his hair.
He's like, you'll get there, pal. Probably not, but I'm going to say that. Let's see. What else did we have? So Saquon, that was a fun one. Yeah, let's talk Chiefs. Let's talk Chiefs-Niners.
Niners are okay. So when you look at the NFL, you see elite, and I think what's going on in the Central or the North is pretty special in the NFC. And then you have like obvious garbage, and then you kind of have that gaggle in the middle. And some of the gaggle, they are just what they are. And then the other part of the gaggle are teams that that should be good, but they're riddled with injuries.
Yeah.
Which I think San Francisco kind of falls under that category of a team that should be better than what they are, but they're just banged up. I think the Cowboys are kind of both.
Yeah.
I think they're banged up and they're also kind of garbage.
Yeah, I mean, that's and it's interesting too because all of the Cowboys' biggest injuries are on the defensive side of the ball, and for the 49ers, it's primarily the offensive side of the ball, especially after yesterday when Ayuk left, carted off, and Debo was apparently sick. That felt a little shady to me. Like, he wasn't on the injury report, and then he plays a couple plays, and you're like, he's sick, he's been sick. Like, okay, well, why wasn't – I mean, I don't care about this because I don't really gamble, and I don't play fantasy. But if I were really into that, I'd be pretty pissed off. Like, it was a big-time weapon, and he played 3 snaps and left the game because he's sick. Well, he didn't get sick at 4:25 Santa Clara time. He had to have been sick for a couple days.
It could have been one of those things, though, when he woke up that morning and you feel great when you wake up. It's like, oh, I think I'm good to go. And then you try to exert yourself in any way, and you realize you're not as good as you thought you were.
What if you had diarrhea?
He could have had diarrhea, Jake. Dirty, dirty diarrhea.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would make an exception for diarrhea, guys. That's
It's something you don't argue with.
that's true.
If somebody tells you you have diarrhea or they have diarrhea, you just believe it.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody tell me that I've had diarrhea.
If I ever do in your presence, I will tell you.
Will you tell me that I have diarrhea?
No, like
Danny, you have diarrhea.
You know, no one's ever said that to me before.
I'm gonna speak it into existence.
Like you're
Yeah.
a magician. You have diarrhea.
Obviously, no C-Mac. Ayuk goes down. Like I said, Debo's sick. Heck, Ricky, I don't even know how to say the white kid's name.
Is it not Purcell?
Purcell, yeah. Had to step in for him, make some plays yesterday, and he just came off the injury reserve for being shot.
Yeah. But he was supposed to be their Debo replacement.
Well,
But yeah, without all the weapons, Purdy looks pretty pedestrian.
One of my favorite things in sports is how we just, when we're, like, at some point I had to be like, I was wrong about Brock Purdy because the results were just too overwhelming. And I could say, like, yeah, but he's got all these weapons. And they're like, yeah, but look at all these plays he makes off schedule and his athleticism. And the more I watched him and the more they won and he played well, eventually I was just kind of like, all right, F it. This guy's actually good. I had to concede to Dan. And now we get to see what it looks like when you don't have like the best 5 skill position players grouped together you could possibly imagine. Pretty spare.
Yeah.
Look pretty spare. Holds on to the ball too long. Inaccurate throws.
Oh, we didn't mention Trent Williams got kicked out of that game too.
That was BS.
Well, yeah.
I get second guy always gets caught when it comes to scuffles and whatnot, but for ejecting someone, I think that means they looked at it. And if they looked at it, then you should be able to see he got punched in the helmet first. That should have been a double ejection. Also, I'm not really sure. I don't remember who the player was. I'm not really sure that if there's a single digit on my jersey or it starts with a 2 or a 3, I'm not hitting Trent Williams in the head.
Yeah.
It's a bad plan.
Yeah.
He's
That
like
feels like
Zeus.
feels like a 90s number thing.
Yeah. It just you're a little guy, little fella. But the Chiefs, man, they're doing this every week.
Why were they were underdogs? That was the silliest line of the weekend.
Well, I can think of a couple reasons, maybe. One, they've barely been winning.
Yeah.
Barely. They're on the road, and you had the 49ers are hungry. Because, one, they were sitting at 500, and two, Mahomes has beat them 4 straight times, including twice in the Super Bowl. And it was only like 3, right?
If that. May have been like +1 or something.
Well, it's not like the Chiefs played great. Mahomes had a tip pass for an interception, he had a bad throw, but he also had some ridiculous plays, including probably the play of the game because it set up them to score to go ahead. A lot of people are upset about this today, but it was the 33-yard scramble.
Yeah, I don't quite know what to think either.
I think, and I'm not just saying this because he's a close personal friend of mine.
Because you get to call him Patrick.
Yeah, but I think what the rules are, you just use them. And it's the same reason why if James Harden played for your team, you would learn to like it. They're going to call the game how they're going to call the game. And if you didn't see the play, what we're speaking of is he takes off to the left edge, and when he's 4 or 5, maybe closer to 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, he starts to do his slow down, chop your feet like you're running out of bounds move while he's still in bounds, which most of the time means a defender that's coming at you will let up because they know if you hit Patrick Mahomes at full speed when he's even a step out of bounds, it's 15 yards at minimum. So he just started throttling down, and the defender stopped, and he just like slipped inside of him and kept running. He's like, I'm stopping, and you are going to stop as well because you think you can't hit me because I'll sell this and bitch about it. And the guy just ran right past him, and he kept running. It kind of happened twice. There were 2 dudes who could have ear-holed him, and there was a bunch of football players from the 60s and 70s yesterday that were like, football's woke and gay now. This kid would have been in a hospital had he tried this in my day.
Was there did people protest saying he can't do that? Like, were they demonstrative on the field with the officials afterwards? Or was it just
I don't think so. I don't think so because it's not illegal.
Yeah.
You know, because the other thing he does, which I've always thought was hilarious, that more people don't do it, I've mentioned it 1,000 times, is just the flag football move. Because when you get to the edge in flag football, if your quarterback knows what he's doing and he's pretty athletic, once he hits the edge, 0 people out there have the spatial awareness of a real football player. They do not, and the field is not always marked. Like the way that an NFL field is marked. People do not remember where the line of scrimmage was. So you'll routinely see it. Our quarterback is awesome at it. He will pump fake on the edge.
Whether he's
6 yards past the line of scrimmage, and every single time, a DB will just jump up in the air and he'll run past him. And he'll do it again. He'll do it in midfield, like in the middle of the field. When it's like, where's he going to throw it? It works every time. And Mahomes still does it because in that moment, you're like, oh, shit. So he did both those on that play and then set up a touchdown. And he also just absolutely trucked a 49ers safety at the goal line for a score and kind of did a little standover. That was tough. Malik Mustafa, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. He had like a dozen tackles, but in a very cool athlete move, when he got to his phone after the game, he immediately tweeted, this is the safety for the Niners, tweeted out the meme of that guy, the GIF, just saying, I'm not going to lie, I got cooked out there.
That's cool.
Like he knew. There's going to be an image of me Mahomes standing over me.
The side-by-side of them without their shirts on is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that guy's like, just looks like an Adonis. Yeah, Mahomes has got Coors Light belly in the locker room.
He's been fishing at 5:30 in the morning.
Right. With Uncle Ken.
Let's see. Anything else for you? Because the biggest story of the day probably was Jameis and Deshaun. So we're going to save that for after. We do have a twofer again tonight. Is this every week? Are they trying to do it most weeks, I guess?
What, the doubleheader Monday Night Football game?
Yeah,
where they stagger them by what? Like, is it an hour or 90 minutes?
They've done it 2 different ways. This one is 45 minutes.
Okay.
They have had them like a West Coast, East Coast game
Yes.
where they've done it that way too. But I don't really understand the rhyme or reason behind it. I guess I'll take it.
This looks like it's the last one.
Okay. There have been way more this year. Am I crazy?
Another one in week 15. But yeah. It feels like that was a week 1 thing, but now it's...
Yeah, they always did it week 1.
What's the logic? Just to get more eyes from offering multiple markets?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you can only show a few games on Sunday in each place, so I guess why not?
What are the viewing options? So typically Monday Night Football is only on one network. How are they doing this?
I'm pretty sure that there have been times before where one was on ABC and one was on ESPN.
Okay, still part of the same parent company.
And I think ESPN has all of it in there somehow.
Yeah.
I think this one is ESPN, and if you want to watch Chargers Cardinals tonight, which you don't.
I don't.
I believe that one is ESPN Plus. But big ABC and big ESPN will have Joe and Troy on Ravens Buccaneers, which is a pretty tasty matchup.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that stuck out to me was Doug Peterson kept his job in the second half because the Jaguars were down 10-0, I think, to the Patriots.
They were. In London. He didn't get left there.
So didn't they spend the whole week out there? Or they've been there before, the Jaguars?
They've definitely been there before.
Oh,
like this season.
They're the team of the
Yeah, they played the
UK.
Bears.
That sounds right.
Or maybe some, I don't know. I can't keep track.
I'm pretty sure they played there this season because
they have.
That's the time that I was telling you guys that the TV was on early one Sunday morning, and my roommate walked in and was like, "Are you watching women's football?" Because Trevor Lawrence was on the screen.
That's interesting.
He had never seen the guy before, so
Sure.
he just looked at him on the sideline and thought, "Hey, that's a nice looking lady."
You want to talk about Russ last night?
Rush.
Yeah. Here, I'll play you a little bit of Russ audio. I thought this was funny. It's not really funny. It's just Russ is so generic and so – I think this guy I follow, Andrew Brandt, former agent, he tweets a lot, was like, this is like if AI created a quarterback.
Russ, first game for you since the preseason. What will allow you to get acclimated quickly?
Man, just being with the fellas, man, celebrating. What an opportunity it is. It's a great Sunday night football. We got one play at a time, be locked in, great fundamentals, and let's go get it.
What's the biggest obstacle that the Jets defense presents for you?
And they fly around, and they're not to play. They create turnovers and all that. We got to protect the football, go make big plays, and, it's going to be a great battle tonight.
What's the most important part of your routine from now until kickoff?
Man, just stay in the zone, Stay in the zone, listen to my worship music, and let's get it.
Best of luck. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Russell Wilson clearly in the zone.
Whoa. Russell Wilson clearly on cocaine.
Yeah. Just listen here. This is for the real heads out there. As I throw it back to the studio, you get a very subtle Garrett goofy laugh.
Best of luck. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird night. I mean, they got down. Aaron Rodgers sucked at the beginning and then kind of got hot. Russell Wilson threw, I tweeted this last night, early in the game, the worst pass I've ever seen attempted in an NFL game. Like, he was attempting to throw something out to the flats.
Yeah.
Kind of, if I recall, it was like a bubble. But it was a throw that would have been caught, like, behind the line of scrimmage. It was not like a downfield throw where it's like, oh, he threw it into the stands. Dude, it looked like when Tebow was trying to learn how to throw. Like at the NFL level, and you would see those. It looked like me. Like trying to throw the way you're supposed to throw. I can't do it. The receiver just looked at the ground like, what
was that?
What? And on the next play, it wasn't much better. And I'm like, dude, this is awful. He's so done. He went from let him cook to cooked. And then he got going.
And he looked pretty good.
He looked way better than he ever looked in Denver.
Dude, yeah. He throws a very catchable deep ball. Man.
Pickens likey.
Pickens was great.
Yeah.
They're starting to use that giant-ass tight end they have.
Boy, that guy is a beast.
Yeah.
Didn't Aaron Rodgers have a tipped interception that kind of wasn't his fault?
Yeah.
Late in the game or at some point?
Yeah, but he wasn't very good past the first quarter, maybe first quarter and a half, but it was not. That team just sucks. Devontae did nothing. Like, he was, I don't even, let's see what targets he had.
God, we were talking about
9.
this.
I just saw he had 3 for 30 and thought, boy, he had 9.
I was talking with Skin yesterday about Devontae. It's like we were both hoping for a 12-catch, 219-yard game with 2 touchdowns. Like, just to do kind of what Derrick Henry's been doing to this team all year.
It's not quite the same, but
mentally.
Amari Cooper had a pretty big day yesterday.
He had a really good day
for a guy who
true.
didn't know the playbook, so much so.
Oh, that's true.
That one of the dudes Cooper was in the slot, and the guy on the outside, like Josh Allen changed the play at the line, and Amari's like, I don't have a clue what he's talking about. And very youth football style, the receiver on his side kind of like did the this way and that way.
Run a post.
And he ran it and scored.
Yeah.
He was open.
I always find so much pleasure when players that Jerry just undervalues or passes on do well on other teams. I love it.
God, Twitter was funny about that one because it was, I don't know, like a gif of Amari, like running a route and having the pass hit you in the hands. It was like just worshiping him because he's come from Deshaun Watson to now Josh Allen.
That's crazy. I mean, dude, he went to go from Cleveland to Baltimore at this stage of the game, or excuse me, to Buffalo. You're not going to get much luckier than that.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. I would have liked to have seen a big day from Devontae, and maybe they'll figure it out, but they're screwed. Their season's done.
So if they want to turn around and trade Mike Williams, are you into that?
Sure. What's his contract? You know what? At this point, I don't really care. I just think I think the Cowboys have to do something on the offensive side of the ball, playmaker-wise, or they have no shot.
Because he's kind of the odd man out there.
He is. Man, he's pretty much. He signed a 1-year deal.
Okay.
It's just a matter of when the Jets realize they're screwed.
Well, at 2-5.
The only thing is, that division sucks. So they're not going to win it, but they still get to play the Patriots and Dolphins. I would say at least 2 or not 3 or 4 more games for them. But who knows? All right. Well, we will talk about the scene in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, and the fans and Jameis's comments afterward. We will do all that with Dan after the news. But Blake, it's your turn next.
Do you want to do the read?
Yeah. I thought you'd be like, oh, yeah, viewer mail. It's brought to you by
Lone Star.
Oh,
there you go.
man.
The official beer of Texas. Great with barbecue, great with anything, really. And what they're pushing right now is Lone Star merch, which is pretty badass. And according to Danny, made in Taiwan?
No, man. Right downtown Fort Worth, bro.
Okay.
Locally sourced. Real organic T-shirts for your comfort and fit.
Yeah, go to LoneStarBeer.com. Use the code DUMBZONE21 to get 21% off merchandise. Why 21?
Why?
Got to be 21 or older to purchase.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake.
You're welcome.
But look, let's be honest. Lone Star's obviously got the best merch game in the biz, but there's so much more than that. Have you tried their beer, Blake? Quite delicious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a red can guy.
Yep. I'm trying to watch my girlish figure because bikini season's coming up next year, so I'm kind of going with the blue can.
Well, I'm still working on my before pictures, so I'm just going to stay red can. But I've had some blue can. Very good. Lone Star Light, really, really good.
So good.
So authentically Texan Lone Star beer. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute, Uncle Hotmail. Hey,
it's an interesting strategy to really, really puff up your before pictures.
Yeah. No,
so when you get in shape, it's like, look what I did. Yeah.
I love
Brilliant.
Not a ton here today.
Shout out to Prophets and Outlaws, by the way. Contact them for all your music needs.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they have good T-shirts, too.
They do.
They had a kick-ass studio. I know that.
They definitely have that. We should go back out there soon.
This says, Dear Vulva Valedictorian.
All right. New leader.
Love it.
New leader.
My son Gary is celebrating his Columbine body count, minus Dylan and Eric's birthday. His leader is Puberty Blocker Blake. This is from Corey.
Boy, Blake or Jake's ferret head popped up when you said Columbine. Huh? What?
It was a big event in history.
Sorry, Rob.
To be honest with you, Columbine probably impacted my life more than 9/11. If we're just talking about actual brass tacks impact, I might even go so far as to say that Columbine was my 9/11. If you think about it.
Okay, wait. What year was Columbine?
2000.
Are you sure about that? Or was it?
Was it before 9/11?
Oh yeah.
Well, of
sure.
course it was. How old were you?
I was going to say 99.
24 years ago. You were
15?
99. Were you 15?
About to turn 15.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me because you were in school.
Yeah.
You probably had a bigger connection to that. I've talked to guys that are about your age, and their experience of remembering 9/11 was kind of like, huh. It was the same for me when the Challenger exploded, and I was a senior in high school when that went down, and I remember watching that going, huh.
Yeah.
It didn't impact me like it did people that were 3, 5, 10 years older than me.
Now, eventually, as just absolutely neoliberal douchebag as this sounds, I would say 9/11 is kind of why I went to college. Because I got very interested in like, whoa, what happened here?
You're trying to avoid a potential draft.
Well, that honestly was in my mind, but also I just got really interested in learning about stupid stuff like politics all over the world.
Did you get a poli-sci degree?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
My master's is from the journalism department, but with a focus on political communication.
Wow.
I have 3 takeaways from 9/11 from my day.
Dude, that feels like it should be on cold pizza or hot coffee or something. And now Blake's 3 sizzling 9/11 takeaways.
If you don't know Blake, you might want to listen to these.
I remember having to go to the gas station because my dad was convinced there's going to be a run on gas.
God, what is it with you and your family and gas shortage freakouts?
I remember my football practice was canceled that day.
Yeah, it was
because
hot.
I think they were going to drive a plane into our youth football field.
Yep.
And then lastly...
Dude, typically people say fly a plane, but...
Yeah. And lastly, I was pissed because PBS did not show Arthur that afternoon.
Arthur. You were an Arthur guy. I think I was a little too old for Arthur.
And that was my afternoon jam when I got home from school.
When I ask friends who are pilots what they do, they say I drive planes.
I drove bus.
No, but 9/11 was wild at my school though because, as discussed, there were parents getting their kids out of school. I'm like, look, I haven't seen the Al Qaeda dossier, But I'm pretty sure Richland High School is not on page 1 in the event that this thing spirals.
Right. Or if there's an unidentified yet fourth plane or fifth plane.
That's right. We've got the Richland campus locked on.
Yeah, you're probably safe. Yeah, any Dallas community college is probably in good shape. Man, you guys were talking about the gas shortage. Man, Rob and I lived that thing in the 70s.
Yeah.
I remember my parents needing to get gas, and this is during the Carter administration, right? I think it was?
It was 79, I'm pretty sure.
That was
during the
2 miles around, or a mile around the gas station. Just the gas lines were insane.
Odds and evens. There you go.
Yeah.
Water in your yard.
Get gas on an odd or even day.
That's right.
My mom would get up at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. to go to the gas station.
And probably not get home until after lunch.
Yeah. She was gone at least 2-3 hours.
You know what rules is that now, like 45 years later, the only thing you see lines like that for is if an In-N-Out or like a Portillo's opens.
No,
like just
kidding.
beef. The only thing, like
Yeah.
Or a Jollibee or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, Columbine. Back to you, Blake.
Dear Uncle Twat Tantalizer.
It's a strong day here, folks.
Not bad.
Today is my Michael Jordan with the Birmingham Barons birthday. I was not woken up in that special way, but I took care of myself already.
Gross.
My leaders are Jake Scorpion Toe and any guest that isn't Sarah Heppola. Day 2 DF 1193 Scott's Murphy.
Yeah.
Isn't she scheduled to come back soon? I think I saw her on the calendar.
We're gonna get her canceled. That's it, boys.
That's good stuff, Blake. Now, with more on Columbine, here's Jake.
That was a wild day, too, because I remember, let's see. Some of these events kind of run together for me, but I do remember it was definitely like we didn't really know what lockdown was at the time, but every school was on high alert. Like, yeah, I'm sure these 16-year-old kids who were playing Doom every day had coordinated an entire network of sleeper cells around the nation. But it was a thing that we knew about at school that it had happened. It's not like we got home and found out. And from there, yes, things changed drastically. Of course, one of the things that people my age experienced right away were we had to start wearing IDs. No matter what.
Why?
So they could identify your body.
Jesus.
That's why?
They didn't tell you that, but I pretty quickly figured out why. Okay, why? Well, they don't want people coming in who shouldn't be here.
Yeah, that wasn't the case at Columbine.
Yeah, right? Like, so that's exactly. You could have an ID. If you could get a gun in, you could get a gun in.
Yeah, think about it. In World War II and Vietnam, you didn't wear dog tags so you could remember your blood type.
Right. Yeah.
And there was a reason there were 2 of them.
And I'm sure there's that may be a little bit of an extreme take on that, but I do believe that's part of it.
They were multi-purposed, and that was one of the purposes.
Yeah, and they would get all over your ass for that. That was, you're going to ISS for the rest of the day, or you got to buy another one, and they would charge you $20 or something for them. No kids just walking around with $20. So that was a big, and I chronically misplace and lose things. These guys know that. And it started way before any sort of earth-based or grain-based substance. I just lose shit. I don't know. The ID was always a problem for me. But probably the story I've told more than any other was when and we're trying to fill time right now, by the way, but this is a good story. Just wait. When I went from football to basketball the first year that I did both and we had IDs, basketball was in the morning and I was used to football in the afternoon. And some kids in football in the afternoon, they wouldn't shower after practice. They would just go home. I would shower every time. I'm like, what? It's disgusting. Like,
you put your street clothes back on after that?
Some people would.
Stinking?
And they would just either, their parents would get them then, or they would take the bus, or if they were old enough to drive, they would drive. I would shower and put on like gym clothes every day. And we would dick around in the shower. You know, it was
I bet.
It was one of those, it was just a long open shower with either 4 or 5 poles that each had 4 or 6 heads on them. And they were spaced out, and so there were 2 rows of them, and we would just dick around to like an insane degree. and we would soap up the whole like midway of it, and you just get a slight running start from one end, and then you just slide on your ass the whole way to the other end.
Teenager naked slip and slide.
Naked slip and slide, and the whole time there's like 10 other dudes in their shower, so you're just flying by like waist level.
Whoa!
Yeah,
spinning.
Yeah, so we were just animals. And then when basketball season started, a couple of us, most of the kids who played basketball didn't play football. And so when we went over there, we realized, hey, these dudes don't like shower naked. They were way, way more uptight about it. And it was in the morning. And they would shower in gym shorts if they showered at all. Some of them would just wash their hair and style it, pop out the LA looks. But if anybody showered, they would shower with their shorts on. They didn't get naked. This is 9th or 10th grade.
Did you ever ask anybody what the purpose?
No, what I did was immediately get naked.
And?
As one or two people who did that.
Did you inspire change?
No, I just tried to creep everyone out. And one way that I did that was I would shower naked and hang my ID on my dick, and I would walk around and be like, is anybody – they're going to suspend me. Has anyone seen my ID? Is it over there like they don't even want to be naked? And I've got a lanyard
hanging off your ween.
Yeah.
And then you start helicoptering
it was a different time. It was a different time. I think you'd probably get some sort of like sexual charge for that now. There's no way that somebody could have looked at what I had going on and been like, I'm being hazed. I don't think anybody felt threatened. But yeah, that's what I did with my ID. All right, we'll step away for a minute for those on the live stream, and when we continue, we'll be joined by Big Mac himself.
The Dumb Zone.
This week you come really, really, really close. Are you more glass half full coming off this loss, or are you still kind of feeling that same way?
The glass is always full because it's maybe full, half full of water, it's still full with air.
Nope. Puppet.
Thank you, Jameis. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Sarah. In a minute, we're going to be joined by Dan McDowell. He's in Cleveland. But first, we're going to tell you about one of our fine sponsors here, one that Blake is very familiar with, and one that I'm about to become very familiar with. That is Ownwell.
Oh, yeah? Taking the plunge?
Oh, yeah. You know why? There's no reason not to. Ownwell's going to help you save money on your property taxes, and if they can't, you won't pay them. 86% of people will save money on their property taxes. They will have a reduced bill, and if you're part of that 14%, you don't pay anything. Blake, however, was part of that 86%.
Oh, yeah. They saved me a little bit of money. Sign up takes 3 minutes. It's very low risk, high reward. If you're thinking about doing it on your own, don't waste your time. Let the experts do it. 86% of people in the Metroplex save money. You can too. And why not do it? It's property time in Texas.
I got my notice yesterday.
Oh, they're coming in the mail right now.
Taxes,
sure.
And
you got until Jan 31.
Higher than last year.
Yeah.
It's only going one way, Danny.
I'm doing this too. You said it's 3 minutes to register and
put a timer on it.
Get in there? Really?
Put a timer on it. Now, you may be thinking,
I got 3 minutes. You know what I don't have time for? Getting all of the, whatever it's called, documents and DCAD or whatever that website is to get comparable properties in your neighborhood.
Don't need it.
And wait in line on a phone call to talk to some dude that's going to save you zero money.
Got to pretend like you're Mr. Smith goes to Washington and you're standing there in front of some government body. That's not for you. You need one website, Danny.
What is it, Jake?
Ownwell.com/partners/thedumbzone. All right? That's what you do.
Tonight.
You save money. Hundreds of dollars on average. You could do anything you want with that money.
Connect with Ownwell tonight. Ownwell. What's up?
Oh, y'all are waiting on this, right now.
I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it. All right, let's go now live to Cleveland. We hope. What's up, dude?
Look at him.
Pick up the energy, boys. Come on. Let's go.
We have
We're
the
going to
same
do a 2-minute spot. Let's make them a little more exciting.
Look, we have the same energy as a man who decided to not make his bed today.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Don't you listen to Jordan?
Who makes their bed?
Don't you listen to
I'll
Jordan
just be
Peterson?
getting in it tonight.
Come on, man. That's so unlike you.
I just had a romp. I had a romp in there.
You haven't had a romp in maybe ever, but definitely not.
Dude, I'm romping.
Definitely not in 30 years.
Romping with the left hand. It's all great. All fun here.
I'm disappointed to learn you don't make up your
Cleveland,
bed.
Ohio. Excuse me?
I'm disappointed to learn you don't make your bed. Like you just,
okay.
You seem like that type of guy.
That bothers me. Huh?
You just seem like that type of guy.
Do I?
Yeah.
No one goes in your bedroom.
I know.
No reason to make the bed at all.
I completely agree.
It was always one of the most illogical rules that your parents had growing up. Make sure you make your bed. Who's going to go in there except for me again later, and then mess it up?
You should set your
and don't give me
standards
your
high.
Marine crap. Oh man, I bet you. At least I did that. Like, okay, whatever, Marine.
Marine.
Jarhead. Go back.
Yeah. Go back to where?
Vietnam.
I don't know. Where you came from.
Well, what's going on in Clee?
I'm reporting live from a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. This is Westlake, Ohio. As you know, I'm back.
Yes.
So actually, let me, I have a huge game report for you, but first, let me just give you an update on my hotel. So I told you on Friday, the location of the hotel was very close to a very famous landmark here in the Northeast Ohio area. However, it was unfortunate. I didn't get to choose my room, and I was looking the opposite way. I think I was looking over like some kind of a fish restaurant or something. So, which is nice. But it wasn't the fish I was looking for. So last night I got in my room. Rob, we can fire up this video. I actually, this is when I checked back in because I left for a day to go. My buddy Joe's, slept over his house Saturday night.
It is a nice room.
It is a nice room, yeah.
Look
Hey,
at the
thanks.
beds.
Double queens. I like
They're
two
made.
queens.
Oh yeah,
I like two queens over a king nowadays.
100%. You know what I do with that? Or yeah, just why don't you walk us through first? I see it right there, baby. A beacon.
Okay, we walk over to the picture window. What do you call that? A bay window.
Not a bay.
And now we are looking at the majesty of not only the Cheesecake Factory,
but the parking lot,
which we love. But yeah, let's focus on the parking lot of the Cheesecake Factory. And it's not just limited, if you remember being there right behind the cheese. It actually extends out. So like, where was Baker and Baker Head Girl? Were they over here by the trees? Were they, up close to the Crocker Road? Who knows? Were they, right behind the Cheesecake Factory so that the back of her ponytail could be illuminated by that red orangish glow? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were even feeling some electrons from the Cheesecake Factory and it flowing right through her, and then his electrons
flowed through her.
Yeah, and then the vape situation.
Sure.
We remember everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my room is now over. It's the most scenic, the most coveted scenic room. It's the highest floor, high atop the 6th floor of this hotel, overlooking the Cheesecake Factory parking lot. So if he's out there or somebody's out there tonight, I'll be watching. I'm scoping it out. I'm like Rear Window. That's not a good reference. I'm like someone on The Wire. I'm like Bunk on a stakeout.
Okay.
Did Bunk ever do a stakeout?
I'm interested in the go back to the same hotel. Is that? I mean, I guess if they have yogurt, why mess with perfection? But I think I like to mix it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know it's a good hotel.
Yeah.
It's close to where my mom lives.
Yeah, the two queens is definitely the move. I don't know if I had started doing this before I learned this from Sam Anderson and the Quaker City Nighthawks, or if I just started. I eat on that bed. I'll have a food bed.
Oh, okay. Mine is more of that's where I lay my clothes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like to have a bed over there that I'll
Got
go
the dirty clothes pile, the clean clothes
if
pile.
I order a pizza and remember to get it when I'm at a hotel, I'll eat over there because a lot of times there's not
New
really.
Jake should remember that.
There's not really anywhere to eat. in most hotel rooms. You know, they might have like the little desk, but it's, I don't know, I like to just lounge and watch TV and eat and then be like, well, now I'm just going to go to the place where I actually sleep because it doesn't have tomato sauce everywhere.
I was thinking of you
when the maid comes
yesterday.
in, they think that I'm having like, you know, probably.
Bloody bung.
Yeah.
You don't want bloody bung in a hotel. Yeah.
Out of state Dan.
Guy from experience, you do not want bloody bung in a hotel.
I'm surprised that you, being a tallish man like myself, wouldn't opt for the single king, because I love a king-size bed alone. It's the best.
I used to, but now I